IPMNation.com.
Live from the Outpost Studios in Columbus, Ohio, you're listening to All Natural Being with Brian Brawdy. Brought to you by IPMNation.com. Get ready for the gong heard round the world.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All-Natural Being. Warning, All-Natural Being with Brian Brawdy is designed to shake your sense of self to the core.
It's full contact psychology with an empowering twist, a philosophical loofah for your soul.
For those of you not ready or comfortable releasing your inner superhuman, listener discretion is advised.
Here's your host,
Brian Brawdy.
Welcome. Good evening, and thank you for stopping by the 291st episode of the number one rated show here on IPMNation.com. You're into All Natural Being and the gong heard round the world. Broadcast as it happens here, as I just mentioned, on IPMNation.com, and now multicast live on Facebook, YouTube, over at allnaturalbeing.com, the new Brian Brawdy app. But however you come to hang with us, we're always live from the Outpost in Columbus, Ohio, with rebroadcasts on iTunes, iHeartRadio, now Spotify. I'll get to that in a little bit. But before we do, greetings wherever you are here in the garden of the mortals. Hello from the truest parts of your mind. Life, it's your labyrinth, your shot at running the table. That's why we're always putting your heart's highest priority top of the list, placing your primal scream, forget about your critics, but placing your primal scream front and center in your life, reinstalling and reinstating the true wit and wisdom of your inner whisper. We're rebooting your robust, finding your ferocious, all in time to outpoodle the brutal that can be the cut and shuffle that fate deals us on a daily basis, and to bring your own bold once and for all. But before we hit it this evening, hello to my good friends here in the United States and Canada, Mexico, the UK, those in Ecuador, China, the Philippines, Brazil, India, Australia, Germany, Italy, France, Nigeria, Turkey, Japan, Singapore, Thailand, Belgium, Sweden, Israel, South Africa, Egypt, Puerto Rico, Kenya, the Netherlands, Colombia, Greece, Ireland, Peru, Poland. Don't want to forget anybody. Thank you all for joining us wherever you are here on the globe. It's great to have you with us. I truly am fired up to be driving your bandwagon, to be your virtual hitchhiker if you're taking the show in on the go, but as always, to be your biggest fan, to be avidly you. So before we jump into tonight's show, let me ask you, why would we let anyone play us like a sock puppet? Why would we let anyone hijack our cognition? Because the days of needlessly torturing ourselves by being someone else's tool, they're over. It's time to take life into our own hands. So what are you waiting for? Here's your opportunity to mortal up. So what do you say? Let's go kick in some doors. And I want to jump right into the thread this evening and say hello to some people. And then we've got all kinds of cool things. At least I think they're cool things. All kinds of things that could get to. Good evening to Henry. Thank you so much for joining us here at All Natural Being. Appreciate it, brother. And to Lee. Let me say to Lee, Lee, happy birthday. I hope you had an absolute blast. I had a chance to talk to Lee this morning. And admittedly, Lee and I are a lot alike. Maybe you too. You can be a little bit of a strange duck where your idea of the perfect birthday is pretty much to, as I said to Lee earlier this morning, good luck and have a great day, hermit up, right? Where you have one of those days where you go, yeah, you know what? I think I'm just going to spend it reading, writing, not a lot of fanfare, not a lot of whoop-de-doo, right? Just kind of hang with myself a bit, kind of veg a little bit. And he and I are a lot alike in that regard. So, Lee, I hope you had a very hermit up type of birthday. Happy birthday, brother. Also, Candace, good evening. Thank you for watching us here on All Natural Being. Let me see, who else do we have in the thread? John, thank you for joining us as well. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Hey, everyone, hope all is well. John, as we hope all is well with you. Rita is here as well. Rita, thank you so much for watching. Shane, thank you. I really enjoyed that post that you put up the other day about the 10 things. Shane, that was pretty cool. I thought about that a lot. Hello, Rita, to you as well. Shane says hello all here in the thread. Henry says, happy birthday, Lee. Absolutely. Let's join. I'll join that chorus. Candace, good evening once again. Thank you so very much. Thank you. Hermit up indeed. I know, Lee, right? And I knew as soon as it's one of those things where you go, hey, John. One of those things when you offer someone a happy birthday and you go, yeah, I hope people leave you alone. I hope you get to be all by yourself. I get there. I hope there's not a lot of fanfare and this and that. And you run the risk of most people going, well, Brian, it's my birthday. Why wouldn't I have all kinds of people around me? I go, you know what? For my birthday, a box of pens, a tablet, maybe a book, maybe an Audible book by now, if not a book on the iPad. And then I'm willing just to be left alone. So I hope you had one of those great days. All right, so before we get into it this evening, I wanted to share with you a little bit about what's going on, a little bit of office work, if you will. Tonight is the 291st episode, and I was talking with my good friend Sue. I was talking with Henry and with Lee. I was talking with Rita, and came up with this idea that our 300th episode, which is coming up pretty quick, if we schedule it just right, and by just right, I mean only one extra day off before September 2nd, our 300th episode will fall September 2nd at 10 a.m. It will be the kickoff to our 24-hour, right? As I said earlier, we're not streaming entertainment. We're grit to go. We'll be kicking off the 300th episode will be the launch hour of our 24-hour marathon coming up over Labor Day, September 2nd into the 3rd from 10 a.m. to 10 a.m. So I'm pretty excited about that. Thank you for everyone. Again, thanks to everyone at Transitional Radio for being a sponsor. Thanks to Sales Copy Academy for being a sponsor. We've got some pretty cool things to show you this week, kind of like a drum roll and roll out this week that we'll be implementing into the show. Also, I got to thank the good folks at tryh2.com. They're a sponsor as well. Thank you very much. And we're really excited about that. I got to tell you, right before this show, because as a part of going for the 81 to win later in December, a part of going for the world record, for the longest, right? It's only 80 hours and 5 minutes. But I figured if you're going to beat a record, you might as well beat it, right? So that's why I thought, okay, let's just beat it by an hour. So 81 to win. A part of that is that every 4 hours, you get to take a 20-minute break. So 8 hours is a 40-minute break, 12 hours, right? And you get to take a 60-minute break every 12 hours. So I thought, well, this would be a nice time of practicing 20-minute naps, right? So the key is you get a break, you take a nap for 19 minutes, and you're back up. So my first attempt at a 20-minute nap was about 40 minutes ago. And I have to tell you, I don't find them all that refreshing. I have to tell you, I don't find them all that refreshing as all. But I'm going to keep practicing between now and then to see if I can, because when you try to think about doing this for 81 hours, yes, I'll have the hanging chair. I'll be able to hang upside down. Yes, we've got all kinds of cool things that we're doing. But I think I might have to practice every so often, taking a little bit of a nap. And that 81, not refreshing at all. Let me say hello to Brian. Brian, thank you for joining us. Also, Brother Wallman, thank you very much for hanging out with us this evening. Dallas, thank you very much for joining us here at All Natural Being. We super appreciate you hanging out with us. And some other things. Yeah, boy, isn't it though? Siesta is absolutely right. And I tried that today. I said, okay, well, let's try 20 minutes. Yeah, and it's, people say all the time, oh, did you ever think of a cat nap? Apparently, my constitution is such that if I lie down, I'm going to... Well, I guess I need a little more than 90 minutes. But I'm going to work on that between now and then. People say, oh, you're training really hard, are you? Yes, I'm taking a siesta is the word. It's the word that I'll use from now on. I'm taking a siesta. That's a part of my training to figure out exactly if I'll be able to do this for 81 straight hours. All right. Also, I want to thank Wayne Noel, who's been helping me with all things websites. He's been helping the good folks at Transitional Radio with everything they're doing in terms of the technology and the websites. And I didn't know this till yesterday, and I had to confirm it with Matt from IPM Nation. Well, I didn't realize we had been picked up by Spotify. So you may have seen yesterday a post here in the thread that said, you can now get us on iTunes and iHeartRadio. Apparently now you can also get us on Spotify, and which I'm honored. It's absolutely a thrill. And let me say that I wouldn't be in this position if it weren't for you all. I really enjoy doing this because of the people here in the thread, because of the interaction here in the thread, because of people saying to me, hey, here's what I think we ought to do. Here's what I think we should kick around. So I really enjoy that. So then Wayne says to me, he goes, hey, don't snore live. Candace, wouldn't that be hysterical? Here's what I think I should get. I should get one of those invisible fences, one of those dog collars, right? Maybe I'll wear it around my thigh, around my neck. And I have to figure out if it can be remotely triggered, maybe like by Bluetooth. So if you're here during the 81 hours and you see me go like this, Candace, then maybe I'll have it so that someone can hit the dog collar and it'll jolt me awake, right? Maybe there's some way for me to go, all right, guys, if anyone catches me nodding off, thank you, Rita, very much. I appreciate that. If anyone catches me nodding off, let me know. Let me see, breathing exercises with binaural beats on YouTube to lull you into deep rest. You know what I'm afraid? I'm afraid that if I get into that deep rest, I'll never come out in 19 minutes. So I'm wondering, am I going to coffee up? Will I monster up? I know what I'm going to do with all the good stuff from tryh2.com. I know that, I call it my surf and turf. It's the wheatgrass powder juice or wheatgrass juice powder, whatever it is, and spirulina. I mix the two of those together, so it's a little bit of surf, a little bit of turf, or as I call it, my surf and turf. And I'll be using that for some sustenance and some other things along the way. But, yeah, I'm with you. I would love that idea of the binaural beats, but I'm afraid I'll work the remote. You know what, Brian? How did I know you'd volunteer, B, to help me with the dog collar? But, Brian, you're a technical guy. Can you look into that for me and let me know if there's a way to remote detonate, if you will? Is there a way to remote trigger one of those dog collars? Because then, I'll just give everybody here's the code. Is there like a texting thing? Like, can I go, okay, if you catch me snoring, right, if the drool starts to fall on my chin and you catch me nodding over, is there a way to maybe text, and that text of a Bluetooth will trigger the dog collar? I just think that would be absolutely hysterical, by the way. Marcia, good evening. Thank you for watching. Take it from a chef. Working 80 weeks. I will. You know what? I absolutely will. Oh, and I should talk to you a little bit, maybe about some dietary things that I could do throughout. Let me also say hello to Janile. Let me say hello to Marcia. Thank you so very much for joining us here at All Natural Being. So I'll take, and as I said this before, I'll take advice. Anyone here in the thread that goes, oh yeah, Bri, did you think of doing this? Did you think of doing that? I would love to take everyone's opinion and go, here's what you're going to need to do. The 24 hours is going to be a bit of a test. To be honest, it will represent the first time since my anniversary, a 2-year anniversary of my brain surgeries. Is coming up here, as a matter of fact, shortly after that 24-hour show. So 24 hours represents the longest I will have been awake since, or any of the 3 surgeries. I'm all over it. If no way, I'll patent one. Well, Brian, I can't tell you. I could feel the love. I could feel the love coming through over the internet. Let me say this. Why don't you and Casey just come here and hang out for the riff, right? Come and spend the holiday with me. I'll get you a recliner. You can sit here. And if I nod off, you can, I'm just touched. I think there's a tear in my eye, Brian. I really am. That you would volunteer to torture me that way. Thank you so very much, brother. You and I have been friends for a lot of years. But yeah, maybe you and Casey can come and hang out. I'll get you a recliner, and the remote control will be my attachment to a dog collar. We could do that. All right, so that catches you up a little bit on how we're going to get to the 300th show. And it's going to be, and I would think, to be honest with you, probably why we got picked up by Spotify. And then later that day, I think it was yesterday, Wayne called me and said, do you realize you're on 13 to 15, and I think the number's up to 17 now, but of the top podcasting platforms, you're on a bunch of them. So thank you all for that. We could not have, as I said, made it this far or been doing it this long. I can't get over thinking you're sitting right across from me, Brian, in a recliner with a drink and a remote for a dog collar. Invisible fence. I can't shake that. Anything for you, but I know I'm touched, Brian. I really am. Joe, hello. Thank you for joining us here at All Natural Being. And thank you for the cool link as well today, Joe. I really appreciate that. I looked into that. They've got some cool things over there, and I will mention that to Wayne as well. Jamie, good evening. Thank you for joining us here at All Natural Being. So now, so that we don't stick on this all day or all evening, we're going through and getting ready for, as I said, the 24-hour marathon, and then later again, the 81 to win later this fall, probably in December. I'm checking Brian's schedule now as we speak, and we'll do the 81 to win, which is the Guinness World Records. Now, in addition to that, starting tomorrow morning, and thank you all for giving me your responses today over in the feed, what we're going to be doing, couple different things about this. We're going to be starting 7 a.m. Eastern time with a 10-minute, slightly under 10 minutes, like 9 minutes and 55 seconds, I suspect. And I'll tell you why here in a minute. But we're going to be doing a Bring Your Own Bold. And we talk about this sense of going back to a little bit of our roots in a way, but going back to our concept of grit to go, where every morning at 7 a.m. we're going to come on. We'll be on for, as I said, just under 10 minutes. And it's kind of like it was my concept of, if I had a website and we called it the Virtual Hitchhiker, it would be a way for as you're heading into work or you're getting up, just as your feet hit the floor, you go, hey, you know what? I would love to have a little bit of portable Brian. Well, I would love to have some grit to go. I would love a challenge to bring my own bold. And, you know, I said to Sue the other day, I said, reboot your robust or get run over. So starting tomorrow morning, we're going to be doing 10-minute little bring your own bold segments, if you will, so that if you're listening and you're on the go, you can throw us on the phone. You can get the app over at brianbrawdy.com. You're able to get the Android app. Sometime this week, I'm told you'll be able to get the iPhone app for your iPhone or your iPad. But then you can just throw me in the cup holder, throw me on the exercise rack, wherever it is you're going to be tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. Eastern. And then we can kind of use it to kind of like just pump each other up and get ready for the day. So that will be launching tomorrow morning. Now, the thing that's important, and why, because originally I wanted to do a 20-minute victory, but here's something else we've learned and we've launched, or we will be launching tomorrow morning. Over on Instagram, we are going to be launching this same 10-minute segment on what's called IGTV. So in the mornings, you can get them on YouTube, you can get them on Facebook, you can get them on our app, you can get them over at IPMNation.com. You can get them at BrianBrody.com. Or if you like Instagram, if you're over there, you can go to IGTV. And now here's the scoop. I need a little bit of a favor. I know. Everyone's wishing, oh, you know what? I would have driven there and worked the dog collar. Bashard. He beat me to it. I know, but I have another favor I could ask. Here's what I've learned today in all of our investigations. I think we have 700 or some odd followers over on Instagram. To be honest with you, ever since the brain surgery, I haven't put in a lot of effort over in the Instagram. From time to time, I'll throw up some thoughts, and that's been about it. But here's what Instagram sets as the rule. If you have 10,000 followers or less, they'll let you broadcast a video for 10 minutes. If you have 10,000 friends, subscribers, whatever the term is on Instagram, you'd think I'd know that. If you have 10,001 or more, they'll let you go for a full hour. So I'd love to get to the point, if you happen to know anyone on Instagram, or if you're on Instagram, you think, oh, I'll go over and throw Brian a like or a subscribe or a tune in or a team up or whatever it is. If we get to that point where we get more than 10,000, we'll be able to broadcast the whole show there. So if you're out and about and you're running around and you're thinking, oh, you know, All Natural Being is just great, big screen, but boy, I could sure use a vertical video of Brian going on and on and on. Boy, that would be great if it were vertical in my phone. Then you could help me by getting us over the 10,000 mark at IGTV or over at Instagram. Did I say Instagram? Yeah, over at IGTV. And then we'll be able to broadcast the whole show there. But until that point, we're going to stick with their rules of under 10,000 people. You get under 10 minutes. So our morning shows, if you will, the bring your own bold, right? Reboot your robust before you get run over. Then we'll be doing those just under 10 minutes so that they conform with everyone's idea there is to what you need to do to be on IGTV. So if you head on over and you don't mind throwing us a subscribe or a tune in or a like, whatever it is, help us get to 10,000 over there. That'd be cool. Then we'll just broadcast the show there live as well. Jamie, good evening. Hi to you. Thank you so much. Janelle, put your Brian Brawdy body armor. I know the Brawdy Brawdy. See, I don't think I got enough in that 20-minute nap. I really don't. Put your Brian Brawdy body armor on before you leave the house. Absolutely. That's what I'm thinking about doing. So we'll be doing that starting tomorrow morning. Now, my good friend John texted me earlier today, and he goes, well, does that mean the 8 o'clock show is going away? No, not at all. I'm going to bookend my days. We're going to be starting off at Mortal Up Radio. We'll be starting off with the 7 a.m. Eastern on YouTube, Facebook, and IGTV, or anywhere else you get our app, anywhere else you get the broadcast. And then we'll be closing out the day at 8 o'clock Eastern for All Natural Being, the live show here. So tomorrow we're going to be honestly working out a few of the kinks and then just getting to this concept where if people go, I could use a little oomph. What did I write earlier? You need a rise. We're like Uber for your attitude. Need a rise in the morning? We're like a lift for your train of thought. But we would do it in such a way so that you could go, oh, yeah, now I'm fired up to face the day. So we'll be kicking that off tomorrow morning. Stop washing your tongue. You can't do a thing with it. I'll tell you what, it's funny that you say that to me. I know you didn't mean it that way, but do you know that since, and just in case anyone is planning on sending different things, right? Like little trinkets or whatnot for the 24-hour, since the removal of the tumor, they had to cut all the nerves, right, to get to where it was. And those nerves were the nerves to the taste buds in my tongue. Can't taste a thing. I say to folks all the time, if you're going to invite me over for dinner, you might as well just serve styrofoam packaging peanuts, maybe with some food coloring. At that point, I'm really not going to, right? I wouldn't know. But none of the nerve endings in my tongue work, so I can't taste anything. Yeah, I know. Somebody going to know. All right. So let's get to what I wanted to talk about this evening. I put up a little sign that I saw today while I was out and about running around. And it said, stop right here, pull up right here to activate your signal. And it made me think, as I talk about all the time, that if you stop looking for the carrot at the end of the stick, if you stop thinking about all the different things, all the different goals that you have to pull you outside of the moment, stop right here to activate your signal, right here in this particular moment in all of time, when you put your heart's highest priority top of your list, when you put your primal scream front and center of your life, regardless of your critics. It's my belief that the universe goes, whoa, 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 whoa. She understands what's going on. Hey, he's got a full deck in the game. Let's give him something, right? Let's give him that sign, that tip, that signal. I'm just looking for a sign. Everyone's looking for a sign, right? But in that particular moment, when you stop right here, you take a deep breath and you realize that everything you've ever truly needed, you've always really had. And in this particular moment, in all of time, what is it that the universe is trying to show you? Your definition of divine, however you define it, what is it it's trying to communicate to you in this particular moment? That through the distraction, the din and clatter, through the mashugana of the marketplace, through all of our binge thinking, we just tend to miss it. What is it, this particular moment in all of time, that the divine is trying to communicate to you? All right, if you get a chance, 833-462-3968, 833-GO-BU. Phone lines are open. Hamburger Helper and Schlitz. Okay, so let me just make sure before we get this deal right here, Brian, we've got all kinds of people. So you'll come for the weekend as long as I hook you and Casey up with Hamburger Helper and Schlitz. You guys will be here to work the dog collar. Deal. All right, you said it here in the thread. I'm going with it. So that's a deal. Better clear this with Casey before you agree, but Hamburger Helper and Schlitz it is. I may even have some Iron City, just right? Some peels. Ooh, that would be good. Some peels I'll throw in as well. All right, 833-462-3968, 833-GO-BU. Part of what we were talking about today was this concept of this particular moment in all of time. I believe that the universe sends you the signs. I believe that our moment, this particular moment, when I say magnify the moment, it's because I believe the signs are everywhere, but we get so distracted by all of our wants, all of our perceived needs, all of our goals, all the carrots at the end of the stick, that we don't see the particular things that are unfolding right at our feet. right now in this moment. So if you pull up and you stop here to activate the signal, that's what putting your heart's highest priority entitles you to. Once the universe realizes that you get it, that you understand what it means to be a collapse of the wave function, what it means to say your ego is a toxic, tentacled overreacher, right? A guest that stayed longer than they're welcome. Milk that's way past its shelf life. It's expired on date. That when you realize that and you go, well, wait a minute. If I don't buy into all the mashugana, all the craziness, all the binge thinking of the ego, if I don't buy into that, then this particular moment in all of time, the signs are everywhere. And I remember, Brian, you'll remember this. Remember we used to have the neon parties where you'd come from one restaurant, you'd go out, you look for a neon sign, and you go, okay, great, there's the next neon sign. That's the sign you would go to, I think, right? I think that's the way the universe works. Brian Bouchard. No, I have taste buds that work. I meant hamburger helper and Schlitz for you. Oh, that's cold. But I've grown to expect that from you, come to think of it. Yeah, okay, so no, you just bring packaging, peanut, styrofoam packaging, bubble wrap. I can get some of that pop in my mouth. That's, okay, we're going to leave that alone. But thank you very much. So, getting back to it. When you put your heart's highest priority top of the list, when you go, you know what? I'm going to ignore my critics. I'm going to let my primal scream out front and center. All the critics that call you a hedonist, that call you a narcissist, call you a psychopath, call you selfish, all the different things you hear, you're going to ignore them. And if we talk about for 1/72 of our day, right, 1 20-minute chunk, Schlitz and hamburger helper, please. Yeah, even that would be wasted on me, to be honest with you. Yeah. Although, oddly enough, Johnny Walker Blue Label seems to still register in me. So if you're Brian, if you're thinking, yeah, I don't want to go to Brian's house and spend the weekend through this thing without bringing a gift, Johnny Walker Blue Label would be a good one. All right, but getting back to what it takes in this particular moment in all of time to identify those signals is first the understanding that they're here with us all the time. Everything that we need, everything we've ever needed, we've always had in this particular moment in time. That's why I call it magnify the moment. But we pull ourselves out of this moment with all this craziness, all this insanity, all this outrage. But what if you didn't? What if you could use that bandwidth? What if you go, yeah, okay, Brian's a little worked up tonight, but I get it. That there are clues, tips, tricks, secrets, techniques that the universe goes, oh, here you go. It's right in front of you. Everything you've ever wanted, you can have right now in this particular moment in all of time. When you recognize that you are in fact a collapse of that wave function, that you are a part of that wave. 833-462-3968, 833-GO-BU. If you get a chance, give me a call. Looking forward to hanging out. Oh, and if you have any ideas or suggestions, what you think about this concept of the Bring Your Own Bold every morning, the Grit to Go series, my virtual hitchhiker, if you will. If you have any thoughts on that, I'd love to hear them. Shane says, you just have to see it beyond your own hubris and ego. It's always there. Absolutely agree, Shane. And I think that's a focus of it. As Rita says, keep your eyes as well. Keep them open. Be aware. Absolutely agreed with you, Rita. And I think that's it. So that maybe it's the fact that we're all distracted. That when I talk about the labyrinth of life, the ups, the downs, the lefts, the rights, the pivots, the swirls, all cul-de-sacs, no dead ends. Yeah, there may be some blind alleys. I agree, Joe. There may be some blind alleys, but that's what the labyrinth of life is all about. Getting up and making another attempt at it. Henry says, ask yourself which it is. Which is the most important for us to discover? Who we are or who we have become. I love that. Who we are or who we have become. And I think it's easy to see at times who we've become. Thank you, Rita, very much. The Grit to Go. Rita says, fabulous idea on Grit to Go. Oh, I was just thinking about that because I think a lot of people go, oh, it's Monday. I'll just throw myself back into the week. And I'm like, baloney. Let's just go and kick in some doors. Let's just put your heart's highest priority top of the list right away. If you're gonna let the whisper out, let's make it be the primal scream. Let's run the table. It's your labyrinth. What are we going to do right now in this particular moment and all the time to start kicking in some doors? And that's what I want. Bring your own bold. Be your own bold. To be every morning. Rita says, I meant to say as well as your heart. Absolutely got you. So anyone that has any other suggestions as to what we could add to that, right? And you know how I don't like the word motivation, because truly if you have to be motivated, you're on the wrong path. We're not talking about that. We're talking about just reminding you who you ultimately are already. There's no motivation. You don't need to be inspired to be who you truly are. Shane says, Henry, or who you want to be. Henry says, order yours now. 2 pounds of grit to go. Wouldn't that be great? Thank you, John, very much. Brian is the best virtual hitchhiker. Well, I'm hoping. Now, that isn't to say that once we get to a certain stage over at IGTV, once we get over our 10,000, that isn't to say that the morning show couldn't last an hour long. We couldn't be taking calls to people heading to the gym, heading to work, heading to school, heading to drop off the kids at the pool. Whatever it is we're going to be doing. Well, I love the idea of being a virtual hitchhiker. I love the idea of riding shotgun. I got my start in law enforcement riding shotgun. I love the idea of each morning getting up. And to be honest with you, All Natural Being got their starts early in the morning. And then when we decided to come to the evening show, it was with the idea of helping people wind down at the end of the day, clear their minds before they fell asleep so that they could ultimately dream about who they truly are. But then the morning thing popped up, and I thought, all right, so I don't want to abandon that morning thing. I kind of like that. I'll be honest with you. I get up every morning at 3:30, 4 o'clock, somewhere around in there for a 7 o'clock show. So that was kind of tough when you have to produce an hour-long show. So I think what we'll do is produce some of it, in the opening hour of my day, and then get ready to go at 7 a.m. Eastern. So if there's any other things that you would like, and John, thank you very, very much again for your compliment about the virtual hitchhiker. If there's anything else that we could do, anything else that I could focus on, anything else that I could say, is there a particular segment? Is there a particular philosophy? Is there something that you're going to be up against? Please let me know in the thread. You can instant message me, and I love getting the instant messages. So thank you very much. We get a bunch of them after every show from people that are going, hey, here's what we could talk about, or here's something that I'm thinking. Jamie says, building my vision board with exactly where I want myself to be in a year. And then I would say, Jamie, if I may, in addition to that, exactly where I want myself to be in the next moment, or even in addition to that. So almost like 2 vision boards, Jamie, where I want myself to be in the next year and where I want myself to be right now. In this particular moment in all of time, who do I want myself to be? Maybe it goes back. Thank you, Rita, very much. Maybe it goes back to what Henry says. In this particular moment, you want to be who you are or who you have become. So maybe that's another vision board that we could work to building, that in this particular moment in all of time, who would we want to be right now, Jamie? And then I think you and I are on the same page. What other things, right? When you talk about the vision board, and I love that concept of a vision board, envisioning what it is. Henry and I were having the discussion. You remember Michelangelo carving the statue of David. If you know the story, the huge chunk of marble that had been left in a churchyard that everyone thought was flawed, and no one wanted to work on it. And he saw it, and he said, well, I don't think it's flawed. That marble speaks to me, literally, right? That marble speaks to me. So he takes it, and he ends up carving, 13 some odd feet, but he ends up carving the statue of David out of a stone that had been discarded. When they asked, what did it take to carve the statue? He said, I simply listened. The statue was entrapped in the stone, and I was tasked with removing the excess marble so that the statue could come to life. Maybe that's a part of the vision board, Jamie. What you and I can do in this particular moment and all the time, with chisel in hand, as Michelangelo says, with chisel in hand, all is well. What we can do to chisel away to that excess marble, that excess mashugana, the binge thinking that keeps us disconnected from, as Henry says, who we ultimately are. Jane says, I have a daily Buddhism book at my work desk. And I look at that. Gives me something to dwell on. I love that. Gives me something to dwell on during those business hours. Rita says, each time we envision, we improve ourselves, and you are better than you were before the vision. Absolutely agreed. And I would almost add to that, Rita, is that sometimes we can use our vision to be a solvent. We can use our vision to be a paint scraper. We can use our vision to remove some of the excess, the varnish, the shellac, the paint, those things that keep us from being who we truly are. And that's what I hope to do in the mornings when we talk about bring your own bold, is go, all right. And we talked about Squeegee TV before, and we're still running to do that. But I have to tell you, I'm really digging this concept, and Henry and I talk about it a good bit. Wayne and I talk about it a good bit for sure. About, is the future going to be audio? Is the future going to be video? How's it going to go? Matt and I at IPMNation.com have the conversation. Is it going to be audio? Is it going to be video? Well, at least for the mornings, we're always going to have the fly-on-the-wall video, right? We're always going to have the ability for you to see what's going on here inside the studios. But in the morning, to paraphrase Rita, peeling the layers, I want it to be all about the audio. Yeah, if I have a bathrobe, I have a hat, right, in case I have a bad hair day, to wear a baseball cap on backwards or something like that, in case I'm running late. Have a bad hair day, which is like 365 and a quarter for me, but that's neither here nor there. Having a bad hair day. Well, I just want people to be able to listen. So it's almost like audio paint stripper, right? It's what are some of the things like Goo Gone? You ever seen that orange stuff that you put on and it just removes all kinds of sticky stuff? Well, it's like an audio Goo Gone that we can tune into every morning, 7 a.m. Eastern, and we can strip away some of the very things that are holding us back. Henry says, radio rocks. Yes, it does. And we're very excited. I don't want to give too much away because it's up for the folks at Transitional Radio to tell us all about it, but there's a huge announcement coming September 2nd about Transitional Radio. Huge announcement. And again, I don't want to steal all the thunder, but we'll be announcing that, and that will be a part of our 24-hour attempt over Labor Day weekend. Candace says, I found out something new about myself almost every day and keep moving forward, never backwards. I love that, Candace. I like that very much. Thank you, Rita. Audio Goo Gone. That's what I like. Fine. I knew exactly what you were meaning, Candace. Thank you. But right, something that helps us, a solvent that strips away all the mashugana that normally would just hold us back, that would keep us down, that would prevent us from being who we ultimately are. That's why I love Jamie's idea of a vision board. I've got a vision of right now, in this particular moment and all the time, if you magnify this moment, if you put your heart's highest priority top of your list, what do you have to fear about kicking in some doors? Nothing. If you're grounded to this particular moment in all of time, what do you have to fear? Nothing. If you're willing to put your primal scream front and center in your life, willing to ignore the critics, willing to ignore their spew, what do you have to fear? Absolutely nothing. John says the 7 a.m. show will inspire your bold. I'm certainly hoping that that's the case, John. Jamie says removing people and habits with the same results have given me a voice again. I can breathe. Watching your podcast versus TV is a well-spent hour. Well, Jamie, thank you very much. I super appreciate that. Thank you. And if there's anything else that we can continue to do to build into either the video or the audio portions of the show, I would just love to know what you think about that. And as I've said in countless times, I like the idea of everyone here in the thread being co-producers of what we're trying to do. I joked about the dog collar. Not really. Right? But if I could figure out a way for a remote, I would love it for people. And, I should tell you something else. We're working on the ability to not just talk about the thread here in Facebook. We're working on getting the ability to also comment on the thread over at YouTube. So we'll have a couple different threads going, so we'll be able to interact not just with my good friends here at Facebook, but also with YouTube, and eventually one day within the app itself. So a part of that will be, everyone can help me in terms of producing the show and saying, I think we should focus on this. We think we should focus on that. Speaking of that, 833-462-3968. We've got about 5 minutes left. 833-462-GO or 833-GO-BU. If you want to give me a call, let me know what you're thinking about and let me know what we could add to our Grit to Go segments, what we could add to bring your own bold in the mornings. And we're going to do that same thing. I think we'll do it Monday through Thursday. Maybe we'll try to do it Monday through Friday just because I think, you know what, on the weekends, maybe people will be going, hey, I don't know if I want to bring my bold on the weekend. I've said, joking about it, if you're going to get out of bed, why not bring your own bold? Matter of fact, if you're not going to bring your own bold, why don't you just stay in bed? And people go, well, I like that. On the weekends, I think I will just stay in bed. So maybe we'll do the Grit to Go, the Bring Your Own Bold, the 7 a.m. series, the 10-minute series. We'll do that Monday through Friday. We'll still keep the show Sunday through Thursday nights because, to be honest, I think we're all busy on Friday nights. We're like, I'm going to get out. I'm going to run around. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. So maybe that'll be the way to do it. We'll most certainly give that. Man, that is one loud ringer. Let me do that just because what's going on here? Good evening and welcome to All Natural Being. Who do we got? Hello. Let me make sure I'm doing this right now. Make sure.
Yeah.
Hello. How are you?
I'm doing fine. I guess you're not hearing me again.
Oh, I can hear you. No, not at all. Henry, how are you, sir?
I'm doing great, man. Doing great.
Great.
Want to catch up the tail end and just congratulate you again. What a good nice show.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it. And I'm looking forward to the big announcements that I know you'll have coming up over the days ahead about what's going to be going down with transitional radio. So thank you for the comment earlier of Radio Rocks. I absolutely agree with you. So I'm very excited to see everything you're cooking up.
Well, just love the audacious audio. That's what we like to do.
Yes, that's true. As John says, casted to the big screen so everyone in the house can get inspired. Well, thank you, John, very much. I appreciate that. So, Henry, what have you been up to? I know you've been doing a lot of writing, getting ready for the big launch this Labor Day. What else is going on?
Pretty much that's my life at this point. Just a lot of writing, trying to get the thoughts down, trying to get some direction going. Working on getting the book done. That's the other big side of it. So, actually, several books. Probably be a whole series of books.
Very cool.
That will hopefully get put together here in some time in the near future here. I figured I'd put a package together where we can just address some of the issues that we've been talking about, feeling guilt and feeling grief and how to deal with it, why we're unhappy and how to deal with that, fear, how do we deal with it and how do we stop fearing. So it's sort of going to be just a vignette of small books that will encompass an entire series of just, we've talked about it as far as, what we have to do as far as, thicken our skins. But it's time to start putting a more of a how-to. So what do we do? I really want to do that, but how do I do it? So we're going to try to come up with a means of giving some nice, easy, light reading in order to find good ways of trying to deal with that.
And I think why that's important, Henry, if I can give you my 2 cents, I think it's important because people have a right to go, okay, great, I'm digging it, I'm drinking the Kool-Aid, everything's good, but just how do I do it? Right? It's easy for me to sit up here and go, bring your own bold. Great. Primal Scream. Oh, I get it. Grit to Go. Like you said, 2 pounds. Great. It's already gift wrapped and, the butcher put it in my bag. I'm all ready to go. But now I need the how. How specifically can I do it? That's why I think your books are going to be so powerful. Now, will you release it as an audiobook as well? How are you going to do that? You're going to do audiobook? Oh, if only you knew someone who could voice them over for you.
Well, I just wish you had somebody with a face for radio and a voice to match.
A face for radio. And don't forget the rear view mirror.
Oh, absolutely.
Face for radio in the rearview mirror. Yeah, well,
if you're offering, I'll take you up on that.
Well, look, how can I not? Brian Bouchard offering to drive all this way to activate the dog collar every time I nod off. How can I not pay it forward if Bouchard's going to drive all this way just to zap me every time I get a little foggy? ooh, I'm going to need more batteries. If he can show that kind of kindness, then I need to pay it forward and go, why, of course. It would be an honor to voice over your books, for sure.
Oh, I would love it. That would be great. Just don't do me a favor. Just don't be standing in any water.
Oh, yeah, I know, right? That'd be my luck. Hey, say hello to the paramedics. No, but I'm even going to, I have to wear like a heart rate monitor so you can see my heart rate and this and that so I don't get all carried away. Jamie says here in the feed, are you open to suggested topics or articles to share? Jamie, absolutely. We would absolutely love your input as to those topics or articles or just some things maybe, Jamie, that you want to kick around. We would love it if you could throw those in. And I know Henry does as well in terms of the content that he's building for transitional radio. So I'm sure I speak for Henry when I say, please send it away, instant message of either of us, or leave it here in the feed. And we'd love, because Henry, be honest, don't you learn as much every day by hanging out in the feeds, hanging out in the different places that you go? And when you and I go, oh, okay, well, here's what we're going to talk about. Isn't it amazing how much you get like a redirect when you just talk to folks and the folks go, oh, well, that's cool, but did you ever think about this? I learn more than I ever am able to expand on. I learn more than I'm ever able to teach just from interactions like, as Jamie's saying, hey, are you up for a suggestion?
Absolutely. In fact, anytime we have lectures to do, I never make it a one-way lecture. In fact, being in the audience of a one-way lecture used to drive me crazy. I hate being talked to
right.
Or talked at. Mm-hmm. And so it's always a two-way street. To me, I learn more from listening to people asking questions or having comments, different points of view, because it opens up more and more of the doors that we need to understand why we are so thin-skinned and why we let so many things bother us. And so, yeah, I think the most important part of giving a lecture is listening to the folks that you're there
sure.
to entertain. And yes, I absolutely agree that's the most valuable commodity we have as far as getting data and information is from the people that listen to us. So absolutely.
Sure. Very cool. Well, I will tell you that a part of my amnesia was the understanding, and I'll leave you with this thought, Henry. People will come up to me, and it usually happens when they tilt their head to the side. And I'm not slamming anybody, right? Because I know they mean well by it, but they usually go like this. Tilt their head to one side, right? Like I'm on a hill in West Virginia. I get to slam mountaineers. I'm from West Virginia, so everybody just slow down. They turn their head like this, and they go, so how's your memory? And I think to myself, when people ask me that, I go, how would I know? Right? Oh, you have amnesia. I love your bracelet. It's very blingish, very stylish, right? Well, how's your memory?
Yep.
How would I know? So, right? How's your memory? Well, up until just now, I thought it was okay, but I have no clue who you are, so I guess my memory's not all that well, right? But as a part of that amnesia, I think that's it. I think we've all forgotten. When you said earlier in the post, do you want to be who you are or who you've become? I think a part of the amnesia is we've allowed ourselves to be distracted. We've allowed ourselves to be disconnected from our wild at the core.
Exactly.
So I think it's that philosophical amnesia that we forget who we ultimately are.
Yep, absolutely. I mean, I think that's the point. The reason why I wrote that was, we go through our whole life thinking we have become, we are who we became, which we have, but that has been so driven. We have no clue who we really are because that has been so covered up. And what I want to do is to try, as Rita had said, strip away the stuff so that we can get to know who we really are. I mean, you
Sure.
mentioned the David and the chiseling out of the marble. When you really look at it, our statue that comes out of the marble, who we are, was carved by somebody else.
Sure.
It's not who we are. We haven't had any input into our carving.
Great
so
point.
I think it's time that we do. And,
That's a great point.
Yeah.
That's a great point. Candace says, for me, Brian, I literally got my belly full of negativity and control. That was the how for me. So Candace was just like, she was on the urge of just vomiting up all the vitriol, right? So she said that was her how. She had to break away from all that for her own health and happiness. So I would think, Henry, that would dovetail nicely, as I've heard you say before, You got to watch the people that are in your inner circle. If someone's there full of negativity and full of, as I call it, critic spew, I also call it the static quo, right? If the people in your life are full of the static quo that keeps your heart's highest priority, not top of your list, but in the back seat, in the junk drawer, in the dustbin, in the woodshed, right? Wherever it is, the bottom of the closet, underneath the bed, tucked back in with all the Christmas wrapping paper. If that's where you keep your heart's highest priority, why do you still have those people around? That's crazy. And I know
right.
Crazy, right?
It really is.
So what do you think about that?
No, I totally agree. In fact, I had started, just for curiosity, I wanted to put a list together of the external influences that we all face, and from where we face them. Well, I couldn't believe, and I'm not even near done, but I would love people to send information about it. But in dealing with, parents and relatives and siblings and friends and teachers and coaches and employers and coworkers and religious leaders, political leaders, advertisers, celebrities, sports figures, the news, foods, vaccines, medication, drugs that we all deal with. Even if you want to get into the so-called chemtrails and simply nature itself, radiation, and then start going into all of the subcategories behind them. With your parents, you deal with as far as how we've been programmed. Your parents' health. What was it like before you were conceived? What was it like after you were conceived? Physical health, their relationship. How was that? And start breaking it all down. It is just ad nauseum. It goes on and on and on. All of these external influences that have carved our statue, and it is just amazing. All of these influences, and believe me, I'm wide open for more suggestions because there are. I know there's more than I can even think of. But wow, it is just amazing to realize how much we have been influenced externally.
Sure.
And that doesn't even deal with who we were in the very beginning.
Jamie says in the thread, Henry, you'll love this. Insanity doesn't run in my family; it gallops.
Oh, I love it.
I do love that, right? Well, I say all the time, you can't spell Brian without the I in insanity. So, Jamie, I know exactly what you're talking about. But, Henry, before I let you go, you're just not talking about a philosophy here, right? When you talk about all these imprints, it's the biology of how the human brain works. What do they say? Yes. We remember 1/1 billionth of what goes down in any hour? All the different stimuli, all the things coming into us, there'd be no way. It's still imprinted on us, right? When you were going over the list of things that have had imprints in your mind, I thought back to when I was a little kid, I was bit by a dog that was running free in the neighborhood. Bit me right I was sitting on the neighbor's porch. We called them stoops. I don't know if you remember that, but it was called a stoop. I was sitting on the stoop, and the dog bit me right in the tuchus. But that's an imprint, right? So there's even things that you think of the laundry list that you gave, but there's all kinds of other things. First time you ever stung by a bee. First time you ever heard thunder and lightning. First, all these other things. I was at a friend's house the other day, and there was a lightning storm, and I didn't even know these things existed. Would give you an idea of a shallow life that I lead. But they had it was called a thunder sock. And they had huge dogs, 2 huge dogs. But whenever there was thunder, it was like a big wraparound Velcro vest.
Yes.
I didn't know that existed.
Yeah,
so maybe your books are like a thunder sock. Yeah, maybe that's what your books, maybe that's what transitional radio can be for us. You know what I mean? Is a sense of a big thunder sock. So when we hold on, let me turn off the air conditioner here. See, people say, oh, That's another thing. People say, do you really have to keep your back scratcher close? Yes, because the air conditioner kicked on. Look how well I was able to get over there and turn that right off. Multi-purpose, right? So maybe that's what transitional radio can be for us, Henry. It's like a thunder sock.
That's it exactly. And like I said, hopefully we can do a job well enough that the people that really are interested, who tune in, will actually find some answers as to, one, why it is so difficult to change, why they need to change in the first place, but why is it so difficult, and how do we go about doing it? I'm willing to change, but how do we do it? And that's really what I'm hoping we can do, and become become literally a thundersock wrapped around everybody to one, give them the comfort through all of this, because it is unnerving going through all of this. It's
well, because your critics are going to line up against you and say, "Oh, you're listening to Henry. What are you, a hedonist?" Right? You're a psychopath. Right? You're a narcissist. Right? Like they even know the myth. Oh, you're a narcissist. Oh, you're selfish. Oh, you have to put everyone else ahead of you. So you're right. Thundersock, to me, all the clashing of the critic clouds, right? Yeah. All the booming voices going, don't you dare. You better be, right? You got to put everyone else's. What'd you say to me the other night? If you're in a plane crash, what do they say? Make sure you put your own masks on first before you help the ones around you. Well, yeah, when people start taking this stuff to heart, all of their inner circle that isn't courageous enough, that isn't willing to give themselves permission to do the work you're talking about, they're going to line up to attack the folks that are brave enough to actually do it. What do they say? What's the saying? The biggest tree grabs the most wind? Well, when people set out to be the most rooted, when they set out to do what it is that you're suggesting, you better believe critic spew is going to pile up around them.
Yep, absolutely. And that's what I look forward to.
Oh, I know you do. I know you do. All right, Henry, I promised I wouldn't keep you past 9 o'clock, so I'll go ahead and let you go. Please say hello to everyone there for me, and thank you as always. I'm so excited about transitional radio and seeing what you have to unfold here over the next couple of weeks. And yes, as I said, paying it forward, it would be an honor to voice over whatever it is that you're going to write in terms of the books, a series of books, however it is. Not that you couldn't voice over your own books. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying if you need some help and you want someone to do it, it would be an honor.
Well, I would love to listen to him, so I'm not going to use my voice, believe me.
I said to Lee the other day, I have one of those voices for deep space. Like, I have one of those voices for outside of the range of the Hubble Deep Space Telescope. So you can't get beat up on how, you put these headphones on, you go, that's how I sound? That's enough to make you run into traffic with scissors in your hand. All right, Henry, I won't hold you past the 9 o'clock hour. Thank you, brother, as always. Please tell everybody I said howdy there. And tomorrow morning, and it's probably going to be early by you, but we're going to be up at 7, kicking off our Grit to Go series, the Bring Your Own Bold. So I'll let you know how that unfolds. And I'll look forward to catching up with you tomorrow night.
Sounds perfect, Brian.
Sounds great.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks so much, Henry. All right. Again, Henry Noel, and he's going to be unloading bit by bit, kind of like teasing us with what transitional radio is going to mean in the days and weeks ahead. So it'll be really cool to see. He's just he's a visionary, is what it is. Candace, I'm sorry that it froze again, both audio and me, because it says I'm moving. So if anyone else, Jamie, thank you. You have to get your armor all shined up. Thank you, Rita, very much. So I'm sorry if it's frozen again. I don't know if it's at our end or somewhere in between the lines. So, okay, well, that's a good enough reason as any to go ahead and get ready to sign off. Thank you so very much for putting up with me a little bit earlier and letting me explain to you some of the business of what we're doing here. And if you get a chance and you're up tomorrow, excuse me, if you're up tomorrow, 7 a.m. Eastern, we'll be doing kind of like falling back to the way we used to do it, but it'll be at least be this kickoff. And these, the Grit to Go or the Bring Your Own Bold segments, will not count, obviously, as the total for our show. So we're not doing that to run up the numbers or All Natural Being. It'll be a totally separate show. All right, we're going to go ahead and get out of here. Thank you all so very much for hanging out with us this evening, and we look forward to seeing you back here tomorrow night. And to Jamie's point, if there's something that you want to talk about, if there's a thread, if there's a link, if there's a topic, anything you want to kick around, please do so. John, thank you very much. Please do so. Let us know what it is that we can kick around, and we will do just that. Until then, thank you so very much for joining me. We'll see you tomorrow night.
IPMNation.com.